Why is Billie Eilish so popular? I came across this singer, Billie Eilish, probably through like a YouTube recommendation. And I'm like, who is this singer? What's going on? Why do I keep getting recommended this person I don't even know anything about this individual? And I ignored her success for probably a good year. I didn't pay any attention to her. I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to check this out. It wasn't until more recently that I started listening to her music, and I'm thinking, okay, this is an interesting person. And then at the age that she's at, in her teens, to be able to do what she's doing, I started to take notice. I'm thinking, well, I gotta figure out what's going on here. And because I like doing research and analysis, I figure I put this video together because if you are a singer, artist, entrepreneur, maybe you could learn something from what she's done. And I certainly can learn a few things from her too. Although I'm 30 years old, so she's got a little bit of a head start on things. But it doesn't matter what age you are, you could perform and do amazing things. You can be just like Billie Eilish. So let's look at this singer and do a deep dive. Figure out why she's so popular. Well, it helps if you start young. I'm not going to lie, if you are trying to be an artist, it helps that you're starting young. Why? Well, maybe you've got like 100 years tops in this world. The more years you have, the better you can be at your craft, okay? 10,000 hours, the mastery of a particular thing, is really helpful when you have that time. And it's even more helpful if you start young because you're like a sponge. Your brain just sucks it all up. So it helps when you start young. You can pick up things. You know, she was put into dance classes and singing at a very young age. She was dancing at the age of 8. And, well, you can see plenty of 3-year-olds out there dancing at a young age. So it's never too early. But it helps that she had this amazing support system. Okay, she had a support system of parents, her brother, in this entertainment world where things are cutthroat. Her parents are in the entertainment industry, so that's another helpful thing. Okay, that helps having that connection to entertainment. Certainly, you can not have that connection, but it makes things harder, right? Life is easier when roadblocks are out of the way, certain roadblocks that would maybe deter you from doing something. It helps when you eliminate certain roadblocks. And obviously, being connected to the entertainment industry is a big leg up. Helpful networking connections, right? And even better, it's your parents. They know exactly what they need to do to raise you up. And another thing in terms of being raised, well, Billie Eilish was raised in Los Angeles, so that's like the hub of Hollywood, of entertainment. You're surrounded by these influences. You're close to other musical talents, so you can feel like, oh wow, I can do this. Although it doesn't really matter where you're from. You could be in Brazil and you could be musically talented, but it's harder to be a global success unless you're, somewhere like LA. It just helps. The same with actors. Well, if you're closer to the Hollywood scene, you're obviously going to have better chances of getting into that movie, getting noticed. So putting yourself in locations is so important. And maybe you're not in the right location and people aren't taking notice. Well, figure out what you can maybe adjust. I also thought this was interesting. Billie Eilish was homeschooled. She was homeschooled. And her reasoning was, well, she could focus on the things that matter because when you go to school, you learn things you don't need in life. And that is so true. It's so wise what she just indicated there. Because in life, you want to be doing things that matter. And school teaches you a lot of things you don't need. So it's really cool that she acknowledged that. She's like, yeah, so glad I was homeschooled. And she could focus on the craft. She could focus on getting ahead in her pursuit. In entrepreneurship, it's all about doing the things that matter and ignoring the rest. School gives you this plethora of knowledge around a number of different topics. It doesn't deep dive into one particular thing. And maybe you gravitate towards something. And to figure that out, it helps to be detached from school structure. So you have the freedom to explore many different avenues that you wouldn't otherwise in a school environment. She had that hit song, Ocean Eyes, which just took off on sound. I think it was only like 1,000 views on SoundCloud. That was the start. And to her, that was a big thing. But that indicated to her, hey, her reasoning was, hey, I got these views within a day. I am doing something right. I'm going to pursue this career. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going and keep putting stuff out there. It helps. It really does help when you see small wins, when you see incremental improvements. If you see no improvements, you will get discouraged and you will stop doing what it is that you're doing. So appreciate the small wins. Appreciate your 1 view, your 10 views, your 100 views, your followers. Appreciate the very little, right? Nothing is too small to celebrate. Ocean Eyes in itself is a fantastic song, a clear indicator of someone that has incredible talent. Billie has humble beginnings, and she's humble presently. She keeps everything engineered through her parents' house in this small room. She engineers everything from there. And she still does it, even though she has the money to pretty much have any kind of equipment she needs. She keeps things simple. And being humble is so important to become successful in something, to understand that life can be a roller coaster and to appreciate where you're at. Obviously, incredible talent can help you in going further. And her music is so different from pop music. She's created this genre of Aunty Pop, you could say. And she's the top of the game in terms of Aunty Pop. This dark, weird, mysterious way of delivering artistry is something that appeals to so many. She's got this range of influences, jazz, blues, probably some rap in there, hip-hop, and putting this all together makes her genuinely, uniquely her. And the thing is, you don't need to look at classical music and say, well, I have to be a classical musician. You could just be you as a musician, integrating all of these different influences and allowing these influences to craft who you are. I look at her music as kind of a depressive, sad feel. And why does that matter? Well, that connects emotionally with an audience. We all have a little bit of depression and sadness in us. And when somebody, an artist, can explore those themes at such a young age, it's incredible how young she is. And you know what? That's powerful when you're that young and you're exploring sadness and darkness. Because there are plenty of young teenage girls out there, and they are identifying with that emotionally. And that group of people could be her largest audience. This young group of females that feel very much connected to how she's expressing herself and saying, hey, we feel like that too. And that's more than ever how it is today as social media is taking over. And kids are feeling the effects mentally with social media. So it's very interesting that Billie Eilish connects with you in that particular area. You know, if you can do that at a young age, it really shows the kind of person you are and how mature you are beyond your years. So this is why young people connect with her, because they almost see her as this powerful influence, kind of like a mentor, and then older people feel like they connect because they've experienced these emotions, and she feels the way that they feel. So it's a powerful connection, and you see a lot of older people that connect with her. Obviously, attraction plays into this. She has appealing features. I mean, let's just be straight up and honest. Attraction is a halo effect in marketing. If you are an appealing person, right? You have nice skin, you have a nice symmetrical face, you come off in a very attractive manner, you're perhaps a certain ethnicity that can help as well, your hair color. It's like all these little features actually play into the psychology of attraction, of somebody saying, hey, I like that person, because they become more likable. Attraction is a big factor, and anyone that tells you it isn't doesn't understand marketing and psychology. But they should study up on it, because this has been true for years and years and years. Well, why else would so many people in Hollywood be so attractive and so popular? That obviously plays an effect in terms of popularity. How many ugly people do you see in Hollywood? A very small amount. And we're talking ugly in terms of appearance, right? Ugly can be an inner thing, but we're literally talking about physical attraction here. Marketing doesn't really care about how you feel in terms of attraction. The reality is the appeal is there, it's visible, and it's advertising friendly. It's the kind of stuff that people like. And it also helps that she's mysteriously attractive. She wears the baggy clothing, and that actually just draws people in even more. You wonder, wow, what's she wearing underneath the baggy clothes? And you dwell on that, and you're curious to see what her next content is. So obviously this will draw a number of people. It will draw creeps. It will draw people who are extremely creepy, who are too old to be interested in her. Kind of like Drake. I think Drake, the hip-hop singer, is obviously attracted to her, has shown in celebrity conversations. And it's like he shouldn't be having these conversations with her, but he is. That's fine, I suppose, if he's a mentor, but obviously she has some mad talent. But this attraction obviously draws a number of different people to follow along with her, to listen to her, but also to look at her, okay? You know, that can also be controversial. She's wearing the baggy clothes. Is she thin? Is she overweight? It's like we don't 100% know. It's like, how can you tell? It's just people follow along. It's pop culture, and you wonder. Especially women, because they're very big on appearance. They compare, and they do that kind of thing. So this controversy can also spread into her art. Her art, and not so much her politics and her off-scene thing. She doesn't really have too much drama, but she's too young to really have that much drama. But what's interesting is that she sticks to her art being controversial and edgy, and lyrics communicating the way that she wants to. But in real life, she doesn't get involved with controversy, and that is the way to do it. Focus on making art that matters, and ignore the politics, ignore the off-scene antics. Let the work speak for itself. I suppose this could be attributed to youthful ignorance. You have an unlimited mindset when you're that age. You can basically do anything. You have no self-limiting beliefs. Once you hit 30, like my age, you start doubting yourself. You start wondering if you should be doing something and whether you should be doing that or this. And maybe it starts at a younger age. At her age, she basically has no doubts. Now, not all teenagers her age have unlimited beliefs, okay? Some are starting to doubt themselves very quickly, and likely that could be the environment they're in. Maybe their parents are saying you can't do this. But Billie's got no limits. She has this ability to just do whatever she wants, and a support system that allows it. And she doesn't understand the trials and tribulations and struggles of life because she's never been in that situation. She's been in a place of, I suppose, privilege, which has helped catapult her talent. But I would say that her talent has taken her most of the way. She really does do what she wants to lyrically. She's basically doing what she loves. And she's ignoring what record labels would particularly do with artists. Record labels would push a certain theme, perhaps. And I'm sure they're educating her behind the scenes, as record labels should. They are actually a big marketing engine. For somebody who's talented, record labels can be very helpful. But what's amazing is she's kept the overproduction to a very limited amount. Her engineering of the songs is simple. She doesn't make it too complicated. Certainly, her music videos are well produced, but of course, if you're going to make videos, why not make them well produced? Although she's done short films on her own through her phone, so she understands how low production can still work. But to really catapult yourself, having the record label push things along is really helpful. The PR is there, but it's playful. It's mass appealing, okay? She's one of the youngest artists to be on the Billboard Top 200. Like, that is PR. Her ability to deliver amazing material is, of course, the example of how the product can sell itself. Because then that allows you to add in these other elements to push along your product. But her product, her singing, is really what is selling. So that's really Billie Eilish, okay? Number of different things that have helped push her along. Well, let's talk about how this can be helpful to you, okay? Let's talk about how this kind of insight, this case study, this character study of Billie Eilish can be helpful to you. Well, what I can say is, if you are an artist and you're creating things, and I can speak to this, okay? I've created 70 children's books, so from artistry standpoint, I can jump in on this and give you the tips. The important thing is to create and share. To share your story with the world. And that's kind of my mission, is to share things from my life with the world. Well, that's what you should do with yourself, and not put this limited mindset on you. That's the most important thing, because Billie's not doing that. She's not limiting herself. She's putting out content that she likes, content that she's creating, content that she wants to share with the world, that deep down she enjoys. And her and her brother are working on the lyrics and putting out things that stand out. And when you eliminate all the other distractions and you just focus on putting the things out that you want to, then that's where your true brilliance comes out. That's so important. But she started with SoundCloud, okay? Now before that, she started with years and years and years and years of creativity, right? That's really how it is. It's not an overnight success. She worked on it. She crafted it, right? I'm not amazing at marketing from day one. I spent 10 years studying marketing and still do. I don't understand enough. I'm nowhere near where I need to be, but I'm humbly admitting that so that I can see where I can push the next thing, explore the next endeavor. And that's what you have to do. But you have to stop saying, well, this isn't good enough, I'm not going to put it out there. It might just be sharing your clip on SoundCloud. That might be all it takes. And then boom, it takes off. That's what it started like with, in terms of distribution for Billie. She started with distribution on SoundCloud. Free, right? Free product. Boom, awareness. Now it doesn't work for everyone, right? A lot of people are putting out stuff on SoundCloud and it's not working out. One, I'd look at, is your music good enough? Be honest with yourself. Maybe it's not good enough. Maybe you have to work harder. Stop chasing the money, but work harder on the product. Maybe you need more practice, right? That's just real. It's real talk right there. Maybe you're not sharing your song with enough people, okay? Oh, if you're not sharing your song, nobody's going to hear it. SoundCloud has plenty of artists on there. It's oversaturated. You might have to stand out by creating a music video, sharing it on YouTube, okay? You see how you can stand out. TikTok is a platform for maybe expressing yourself. Well, it's a growing platform. It could be a very good opportunity for you to jump in. Maybe another platform out there that's starting to grow. How can you jump in? How can you stand out? Your distribution is important, right? If Billie didn't put her music on SoundCloud, if Billie didn't get those 1,000 views, she may not have continued with this craft. She might have stopped. So, okay, you put your stuff out on YouTube, you get 0 views. Do you stop there? It's so important. I'm going to be honest here. So important that you don't stop there, that you keep going. It might not be your first video. It might not be your second. It might not be your 20th, your 100th, but your 1,000th video, boom, takes off. That's what you're chasing for. That's what you're working for. Do that. The most important thing is, as you're creating and putting stuff out there, acknowledge that that is the practice. That is you building your art, is the act of creating and sharing. That is your lesson in practice. Don't stop that. Keep going. Most important thing is, don't chase the big success right away. Billie Eilish did not release an entire album looking for that success. She released that one song. Okay? It's just that one clip. You can call out the similar aspect to a minimum viable product in a startup. It's that one small aspect that you can launch. Launch that one thing to get yourself out there. That's all it takes, is that one thing, not a big, massive album release. You don't need to start with the album release. Start with the one song. Get some exposure. How can you do things creatively and differently? Start thinking like an artist, if that's what you're trying to be. And then you'll see success. Okay? Well, hopefully that helps. That's an analysis of Billie Eilish. Maybe that's why she's popular. Maybe you can apply that to your life. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, share it. If you don't want to share it, that's okay. If you want to like it, cool. If you want to subscribe, I've got plenty of other things. If you don't, that's cool too. You know, I don't want to push anyone. That's just not me. I just appreciate you tuning in. That's what matters to me. Okay. Bye.